What is going on, everybody? Kevin Calhoun here. Welcome to the Calhoun Show. My guest today is an old friend of the podcast, one of the best friends this podcast has. It's Mr. Brett Zanardi. He just left. We were sat here for an hour. We talked a ton of NBA stuff. I mean, a ton of NBA stuff. Celtics, Rockets, Thunder, Cavs, Timberwolves, all the trades that have happened this summer, all the player movement. And in the end, does any of it really even matter at all? With Golden State sitting there at the finish line for whoever wants to go find them. We talked about that. We jumped into the NFL. We picked some division winners. We talked about the Giants and the NFC East and the Cowboys, because that's his team and my team, and a lot of fun stuff. Good laughs and a solid joint play on words at the very end of it. Shout out to both of us for that one. So, yes, so that's what's coming up. But before we do that, I'll just give you guys a quick reminder what's going on in my world. Or quick reminder, I'll tell you what's going on in my world. Baseball back tomorrow night. The Bluefish are back from their road trip. It'll be one of the last homestands of the year. So if you live in the Connecticut area, you want to come out and see your boy do his thing, hosting a minor league baseball game, you can do that. Come see us in Bridgeport. I'll be there this weekend, Friday through Sunday. What else is going on? KCDC East versus West rolls on. We're in the middle of week 5. Check out that podcast. It's on iTunes, or go to kcdcevw.com. KCDC_East is my Twitter handle for anything KCDC related. And we have videos coming out. We have a tiebreaker video that we shot this morning, being Thursday morning, that I'm going to edit at some point today or tonight, of Dan and I tie-breaking the month of August. So both of us came out of the month with 46 correct picks each. Which was tops in the league, and we had a tiebreaker to see who actually won the month. So we did that. Check it out on the KCDC EVW YouTube page. But without any further ado, let's get to the music. Let's get to Brett Zanardi. Please enjoy. I'll talk to you guys on the other side. Long time waiting.
Wow.
Brett Zanardi's back.
Hey, Kev.
I think you've only missed like 7 episodes, but there just hasn't been that many episodes of this podcast. That's all it is.
Normally with the NBA this summer, you know, is a little off season, but it certainly has been anything but that.
Yeah, we've talked last and we figured, all right, late summer, come back in, recap the summer, talk a little NFL. This summer went crazy.
It literally just ended.
It's kinda. Yeah. Maybe.
Adam Silver must be doing a dance somewhere. They're talking about the NBA on September 1st.
It's like an NFL season.
Really
there's no off season. So we have 1,000 different gigantic NBA storylines to talk about since the last time you were here. Where do you want to start? Who do you want to start with?
I mean, we finished it up with the NBA Finals, right?
We did.
And then the draft is just the next week.
Oh, sure. All right.
And that's where it started.
Okay.
And that's when I think all of this stuff at the end with Kyrie really started. Mm-hmm. It sounds like the Cavs were shopping him. And before the draft, the trade was going to be Kyrie to the Suns for Eric Bledsoe and the number 4 pick. And then Cleveland was going to ship the number 4 pick to Indiana for Paul George.
Yeah.
So Eric Bledsoe and Paul George for Kyrie and the number 4. Okay, so that's where he starts hearing it. So that's how the Kyrie stuff. But we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then on draft night, it kind of went like you thought it was. Fultz, Ball, Tatum.
It was pretty Jackson, yeah.
And then boom, there's the Jimmy Butler trade. Mm-hmm. And when I first heard it, I thought I was hearing something. I could not believe it. Not only do the Bulls they swapped picks, and they took the 7th player in a 6-player draft. They don't take Monk.
Nope.
They don't take Dennis Smith Jr.
They do not.
They don't even take Frankie Smokes like your boys did.
Yep.
They don't even take Luke Kennard. They take Lowry Markkanen, who literally
I had not heard of him.
And he's a shooter.
You know me. I'm like, look at the top 10 kind of guy. They picked that guy. I was like, that's who you traded for, huh? That's why you moved up.
He couldn't rebound at Arizona when he was the tallest guy on the court.
It's not a good sign.
And now he's a stretch four. He's literally Nikola Mirotic 2.0, who's slower and not as good a shooter.
That's not good.
And then Minnesota, I'm telling you, if this kid can recover from, not to get too into drafty, but if Justin Patton from Creighton, he'll be a better player than Markkanen.
Okay.
So the Wolves, without giving up anybody.
Big steal.
Absolute steal. And then, boom, the free agency hits. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of really where it started. Then the T-Wolves go out. They got Jeff Teague. So now they have a legitimate roster. And it all is because Jimmy Butler. That makes Wiggins better. Yeah. That makes Towns better.
It's such a fun
Thibodeau
team.
loves having
It's
Butler.
such a fun team.
It really is. Their over-under, I think, was up to like 48 or something. It really domino affected everything that happened. Because then there was a bunch of other signings. Then actually CP3.
All right, so the CP3 non-tampering, and he ends up in Houston.
He does. I thought the Clippers actually did a pretty good job getting back who they did.
Yeah, I like. There's a few pieces that I don't hate the Clippers this year. No. I actually think they're a little more exciting than they've been.
So Beverly's a great on-ball defender.
Great,
Lou Williams can shoot it.
Yep.
They re-signed Blake. They got DeAndre. Mm-hmm. If Danilo Gallinari doesn't punch a guy, that's a good signing. So obviously they're going to take a big step back, but it could have been way worse. Now they're saying, okay, well, why don't you just blow it up? Don't re-sign Blake. But you're in an LA media market. Here come the Lakers. You have to keep that guy.
Got to scrap.
Right. So they could be interesting. I really don't care about the Clippers to spend too much
time
on it.
I'm more interested now because Chris Paul didn't fit. They were never going to win a title with those big three, and they're still not, but at least it might be fun. Beverly would be fun with Blake.
Harden and CP3,
yes.
2 ball-dominant players. But they're playing in the best system they possibly could with the D'Antoni run and shoot, throw it up.
Yeah, and Harden's ball-dominant, but he couldn't have survived another year of what he was doing last year. At least not at that level.
Not at that
was
rate,
crazy.
That usage rate, level.
All-time usage rate, too.
It really was.
Yeah.
And to have Paul there, clearly it makes him better. Is this entire podcast going to be for nothing because the Golden State Warriors are still the Golden State Warriors?
I have that question written down. I think my thought when I wrote it down was, did any of what we just talked about matter? That's seriously the question, but we'll get there.
The Rockets are interesting. What did they win? 55 games. They were the 3 seed. I thought that Harden was horrible in the Spurs series.
Yep.
If he has Chris Paul, does Chris Paul maybe pick up the slack for him when he goes no-show in Game 5 and then Game 6 he completely laid down.
Yeah.
The rest of Game 5, they should have had that series in the bag in 6 if he doesn't blow Game 5. Ginobili, who's 100 years old, blocked his shot, and that was there.
Yeah, that's not what you want. And amongst all of these things going on, Paul George ends up in Oklahoma City.
So then George moves.
Yes.
And of all the teams that you heard, there was talk of a Denver 3-way deal. They had then gotten Millsap, so the love to Denver didn't really make much sense after
same
that.
Guy.
Millsap, very underrated signing for Denver.
Yeah, but same guys.
It really is. Yeah. So they probably wouldn't do that at that time. So when I heard Oklahoma City, I couldn't believe it.
No.
And then when I heard who they got him for, it made the Bulls trade look like it was the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah.
How
I know.
Could you possibly end up with just Oladipo's okay? Then they max contract him. Mm-hmm. He'll probably average 20 points a game on a hideous team. Then Sabonis, who hit a wall in his rookie year. I mean, to get that little for Paul George, now I understand it's a rental.
Yeah.
And they couldn't
100% rental.
They couldn't move him to teams that he wasn't going to give a chance to sign with automatically.
Opposite of Kyrie. Kyrie. Because Kyrie wasn't going anywhere unless the team knew he was staying.
To me, it's just still I just can't believe that you couldn't at least get a first-round pick. Just get something.
I came prepared for you to get here, by the way.
Here we go.
Have you heard an NBA star released his first song?
I have.
In the last day. I'm going to tell you who this is.
Lillard,
I'm going to tell you who it is after you hear a little bit. First, you got to judge it. I'm going to put it up by the mic so everybody can hear it too. You hear this pretty good?
Oh, yeah.
I've been so many places in my life and time.
This is an NBA player.
Sung a lot of songs.
Pretty good.
Some bad rhymes.
Victor Oladipo.
No way. He has a great voice.
He's got a great voice, right? I heard this 10 minutes before you got here, and I was so excited.
That is amazing. It's got like that Indiana feel to it with like a little Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I could picture him like outside in the sunset, like fake.
He's got a bowler hat on.
Sure.
Absolutely. I thought that was great because I knew we were going to talk about the George trade. So I was like,
Indiana's
Oladipo killing the game.
So I guess it doesn't really matter.
No, they're awful.
But they should have gotten an extra. You got to get assets and picks like the Celtics did way back in the day. So
yeah.
George with Westbrook. They won 47 games with just him. Now he's got Paul George. That's now the top four
Now it's
are
interesting.
really interesting. They are. And then if Minnesota can make a gigantic leap to number 5, now we're in business.
Not even that gigantic when Utah loses Heyward, too.
Sure.
You know?
So then it comes to Hayward.
Yeah,
so we're kind of all going
We're going
chronologically.
sequentially here.
So Heyward does a song and dance for a little while. He went down to Miami.
South
Pat Riley
Beach.
has struck out on a lot of big guys lately.
Yeah, it seems like a domino effect, though. Like, as soon as 2 people said no, then the third guy was like, it's Miami,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
I guess I can go somewhere else.
Right.
So it seems to be hurting
It
Riley.
used to be the South Beach, Pat Riley, Spoelstra, Mickey Harrison, go on a cruise, and then you're good to go. But that's kind of faded off. So Miami could be okay. They finished the season strong. But Heyward signing with the Celtics, I don't think it really affected what was going on with
Not-
the trade that we're going to eventually
the Kyrie
get to.
trade, yeah.
It was, they had targeted him forever.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Stevens, he had played for. He threw up that half-court shot against Duke that bounced out. And they felt like they had, I
was
heard it, they said
inevitable,
they
wasn't
had
it?
unfinished business.
It was inevitable, wasn't it? It seemed that way.
I agree. I think it was tough for him to leave Utah. I mean, it's kind of funny that like the one really good white guy plays in Utah, and he's like thinking of
he goes to Boston.
Boston,
Then he
or
goes to
where else?
Boston.
Indiana. I mean, it's just crazy how that actually works out because you have all these things coming together.
It's actually hilarious. The
It-
one
it
good
really
white guy
is.
moves from Utah to Boston.
That's what I mean. And he plays in Ohio at Butler, where he gets recruited for tennis. I mean, it's like all very weird, but having him at that time obviously was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had Thomas, and they had to get rid of Bradley, which I didn't really like. So I thought there was going to be this log jam of forwards, and then obviously now Kyrie makes the trade public. He doesn't really get any offers. He says where he wants to go. Those teams really can't give him a package. Boston's the team that can come and trump any package.
Yeah, certainly, with the
And
Brooklyn picks.
here they are.
I saw somebody write when the Avery Bradley news came out, they said, well, now who's going to cover Kyrie in the finals? And Danny Ainge says, hold my beer.
Yeah, right, there you go. I'm gonna get him.
Hold on. Nobody has to cover him. Somebody else has to now.
When I heard the trade, I was not really shocked because when Kyrie, and this is just myself tooting my own horn, the 2 guys I work with, they can verify this. I was like, well, if you're the Celtics, you just give them Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder, right? And then I'm thinking, obviously, you got to throw in
Brooklyn
a pick.
pick, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that Cleveland actually did pretty well.
I did too.
So you know that I love the Celtics. But
I do.
when it's you and me and it's against the Warriors, we're obviously going to be rooting for LeBron. So I know a lot about the Cleveland roster. They've been in
Sure.
the finals for the last 3 years. I thought, given the circumstances, they did pretty well. You get Isaiah Thomas back, hip or not, he averaged 28 points a game. The boy can fill it up.
Sure.
You get Crowder.
Yep.
Crowder's probably one of the 5 guys that can at least irritate LeBron.
And a solid contract.
Yes.
Solid contract.
Great contract.
Yep.
And so now he becomes LeBron's backup. You shift LeBron to the point. He's now the small ball power forward. He can shoot it. He can play defense. Cleveland will love him.
It's the same offense he'll have played in Miami, basically.
yeah.
The same role.
Sure. Absolutely. Or in Boston, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean LeBron.
Yes.
For LeBron, what he did in
Right,
Miami.
absolutely.
It was Mario Chalmers or LeBron, go do it
That's a
yourself.
great point.
Yeah.
And now Mario Chalmers is Isaiah Thomas
That's
playing
exactly
off the
right.
ball, so he can score in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the Brooklyn pick. Now, in my opinion, Brooklyn's going to be a little bit better this year.
Yeah, so that's the interesting part. If they get out of the worst 5, the pick goes back to not to Boston. Where does it?
No.
I hate the unprotected
No,
rules.
the thing is, they get it no
Yeah.
matter where it is. They just not sure if it's going to be number 1 like it was last year, if it's going to be number 5 or number
Yeah.
4 or number 3 or number 6.
Okay.
It's a 5-guy draft.
Yeah.
Okay. For the listeners, remember these names: Marvin Bagley, he's playing at Duke. Michael Porter Jr., he's playing at Missouri, of all places. DeAndre Ayton, he's playing at Arizona. The 4th guy is actually a sophomore. His name is Robert Williams. He plays at Texas A&M, freak athlete.
Bobby Williams, nice.
Yep. And the 5th guy is this guy, Doncic. He's like the next
European.
but a 6'8" with Ricky Rubio passing skills.
Nice.
Yes.
Solid.
So like a flashy, like they call him like the European Magic.
Yeah.
Okay?
I like that.
So those are the guys. If the Cleveland gets one of those picks, the trade will be great. Now if the Nets win 25 to 30 games, it'll still be good. I think they did as good as you can get. They just got another second-round pick. Now, Cleveland, don't tell me you didn't know that Isaiah's hip was bad. He didn't play in the last 2 games against you, okay? You knew his hip was bad. And I'm not here to bash Isaiah. I'm just saying you knew that.
Yeah.
Good job by you to get another second-round pick. You weren't going to get Brown or Tatum, but you did good.
I was hoping.
Who wouldn't?
I was hoping.
So now if you're Cleveland,
yeah.
Okay, we'll go Cleveland first, because whether this trade happened or not, Cleveland still has LeBron James, and that means that you're still the favorite in the East, okay?
Yeah.
Say Isaiah misses a month. It doesn't matter. He's the point.
At all.
JR's the 2, LeBron's the 3, Love is the 4, and you got Thompson at the 5 with now Crowder. This guy Zic isn't bad.
And he's 20.
Yeah, he'll be in the rotation.
Young as shit.
Yep. You got Derrick Rose. Now Derrick Rose he doesn't have to start. He can be like a crazy
13, 15, 17 minutes some nights. Just
exactly.
go nuts.
And maybe he'll win you 3 games.
Put him on the floor when LeBron's not out there.
Right,
go
exactly.
Have fun. Go have fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe they do another buyout with Dwayne Wade.
Maybe
they do something and ship the pick somewhere.
No.
Maybe to New Orleans, I've heard.
That'd be interesting.
For a guy that's in a contract and will probably be pissed off by December.
Can't imagine he wouldn't be. Well, I was going to ask you that because we were talking before we started about Kevin Durant was on Bill Simmons' show. I don't know if this was part 1 or 2. You've heard half of it so far.
Yeah.
KD said that in his mind, it pretty much guarantees that Cleveland knows LeBron is staying if they trade that pick. Which makes a little bit of sense, but I was wondering what you thought. If you heard that yet, and what your reaction is to it.
I did not hear that point.
He said, because Bill Simmons said, what do you think of what Cleveland did? And he said, and KD says, I don't think they're done. I think they might move the pick still. And Bill said, that means they're keeping LeBron. And it seemed like a no nonsense. Of course they would be if they trade the pick. How does that work? If they trade the pick, how do you know they're keeping LeBron James?
You don't.
Until you see what they trade it for.
Yeah, right.
What if they trade it for a rental 1-year guy? Then of course they're not. I mean, I can't. There's not a guy out there that they could trade that Nets pick for a rental. But
and then they'd have to sign Thomas, James, and Boogie if that's the pick.
It'd be a nightmare.
It's a great point actually by Durant. Just hearing it now, I have not gotten to that part.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
Kevin Durant's a really smart guy.
He is.
And the guy who's with him, he's very smart too. Rich Kleiman.
Or whatever
Kleiman. LeBron's guy is Rich Paul.
Rich Paul. Oh, yeah. Who's Rich Little? Is that a name I just made up, or is that an old comedian from the 70s?
Dick Little? I don't know.
Who cares?
You just made it up.
I made it up.
That's a good point. I think that they certainly could move the pick. I think it depends on Isaiah Thomas's health and how this first half of the season goes.
It could be. And it all comes down to just what LeBron is doing.
Right, and something won't happen until February anyways. So I think LeBron will play it close to the vest. You know, as much as I love him, he loves doing this social media. I'm going to think one way, subtweet.
He went to LaMelo's game. I mean, come on. He went to LaMelo's game. Of course he's being a dick.
Oh, don't even get me going.
He's got his own shoe now.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It looks great.
Yeah, because that won't break every NCAA regulation. You can't even sneeze without the NCAA coming down and giving you a suspension, no matter have your own $400 shoes. And I guess he's driving a Ferrari or a Bentley or something, whatever.
That's rough. Well, dad's got money at least, so they can justify it that way.
Lonzo just signed a big contract too.
He sure did.
Cleveland will be right there. I think this lineup actually gives them more flexibility. Would I want Isaiah instead of Kyrie in the fourth quarter? I've seen Kyrie do it, so I'm not going to say that I rather would the other way. Don't. But Jay Crowder will allow them to. If you could clone somebody to guard Draymond Green, it would be Jay Crowder. Or if you wanted him to just go in there and rough up Durant for a while and give LeBron a rest, you know? Now all of a sudden, J.R. Smith can guard Steph. He doesn't have to guard Clay. You know, Crowder gives him a lot of defensive versatility that they didn't have.
Yeah.
Now, Kyrie was bad on defense. Thomas is awful. It also has a lot to do with the fact that he's 5'7", and that's not really his fault.
He's not great.
He can't really do something about that. But I think this gives Cleveland, I would say, roster mobility in terms of if they still wanted to move the pick. So off the court and also on the court. We're really going to find out if Ty Lue is just a guy in a baggy suit or if he can actually coach. I think, unfortunately, it's the former, not the latter. I think he's just LeBron's boy and he wanted him in there. I mean, if they traded Tyronn Lue for Brad Stevens, then we'd be in business.
They might have a shot.
They would.
Might have a shot.
The Celtics. What do you think?
What do I think of the Celtics this year?
Yeah, I mean, of the trade, did they give up too much?
No, I thought
a lot of people are saying that they gave up too much.
My initial react. I was at work when it came out, and my initial reaction with the guys I work with was that seems like a decent deal both ways.
It's about as fair an NBA superstar deal as I've ever seen.
Yeah, the problem I have with it is if I'm Cleveland, I'm losing the best player by far in the deal, and I hate that. And I hate it. Sure. I hate that. I hate losing that guy. Yes. But if you're Cleveland and he's going to walk eventually anyway because he doesn't, he's had 5 GMs and 4 head coaches in 6 years or whatever the hell it's been. Like, yeah, I'm sure he wants to go somewhere where he knows he can stay and chill. And guess who's not going anywhere? Brad Stevens. He's not going anywhere.
He's not.
And neither's Kyrie now.
Neither is Danny.
No, the whole system is completely stable in Boston, and it makes complete sense for him to go there. And Cleveland, I thought, did well for themselves coming out of the trade initially. The second round pick thrown in for 2020's icing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
They have plenty of picks themselves, the Celtics.
If you're going to trade away one of the 10 best players in the league, you got to get that much stuff.
And I think they did a good job by doing it with having no leverage. So I give the kid Altman, he was like at Columbia a couple of years ago. He's like the assistant coach.
Playing GM mode.
I give him a lot of credit. He did pretty good. I mean, David Griffin was established, and he kind of came in and kind of saved the day.
Yeah.
From Boston's side, I just kind of break it down, and I'm just trying to be simple. If you're offered Gordon Heyward and Kyrie Irving for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, and a number 1 pick, and you get Marcus Morris back, I mean, you're doing that trade a million out of a million times. There's no way you're not.
I don't think anybody's going to argue the Celtics didn't get better this year.
Right. They got absolutely better.
They did. And they're going to be the number 1 seed in the East. Right? Cleveland doesn't care.
Well, that's half and half. Because if Isaiah Thomas is healthy, that's going to be one pissed off little man, and he is going to play his heart out for that max contract and to prove that he's healthy.
That's true.
And if LeBron actually does what he says he does in social media, I'm bringing all this stuff back, I'm coming back with a vengeance, then let's hold off on that. But you're right in terms of Boston will go for it like they did last year because they care about that more. Cleveland doesn't have to do that.
We always mention Simmons once or twice. Yeah. Who's your Boston Crunch Time 5 right now?
Because it's
Crunch
stupid.
Time 5 it's stupid good.
Is really good.
They're gonna be the number 1 seed. I'm just telling you right now. I don't care what Cleveland does. They're the better regular season team.
The starting lineup to start the season will be, in my opinion, Kyrie at the 1, Jaylen Brown at the 2. Who he can't shoot, which kind of is going to be tough. Gordon 3, Marcus Morris 4, and Al 5.
Yeah.
Now, Al doesn't like to play 5. He really wants to play 4. So if that's the case, then you just slide Morris to the bench and you play Aaron Baines. They signed him. He could be like the Amir Johnson. You just start a guy and he doesn't finish.
That's your JaVale. Get out there.
The Crunch Time team with Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, you could even go with Tatum.
I think by January they will be.
And then Heyward and a combination of Horford or Morris. Mm-hmm. That's passing. That's a lot of skill. You still have the best breakdown guy in the league to go one-on-one against the shot clock. I mean, that's a nice looking bunch right there.
And the reason I say they're the number 1 seed, that's a minimum 55 win team. Cleveland's not going to win 55 games. They haven't in the last. Have they won? They didn't last year. Did they the year before?
They certainly didn't last year. They were right around there. You're right. They don't go 66-16. They don't.
And it's because they go 75-80% for some of the year. Which is okay, which is fine. Stay healthy.
LeBron.
He's been in the finals 6 straight years. You need some time off. You got to find it during the regular season.
Another thing to that point is Kyrie Irving might just come out and go bonkers and try to be the MVP of the league.
I wrote that down. Is Kyrie top 5 MVP candidate this year?
He's a top 5 MVP candidate. He is not a top 5 NBA player, in my opinion.
Okay. At the end of the year, is he a top 5 vote getter for the MVP? What do you think?
If the Celtics are the number 1 seed, I think absolutely.
Yeah, I think
just like Isaiah was last year, and like to me, in no particular order, the top 5 players in the league are LeBron, Steph, KD, Kawhi, and who am I missing?
I mean, you could
Steph, KD, Kawhi.
Oh my gosh! Whoever you want. Davis, Towns,
I would say
Giannis.
I would say Giannis. I'm sorry, Giannis.
I would put Giannis in there. I would put Giannis there.
Giannis is the 5th guy with a combination of Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler. I'm sorry. Russell Westbrook is the 5th best player in the league.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Russ.
I can't believe I blanked on that.
Sorry, Russ.
So then Giannis, Kyrie, Clay, Anthony Davis, Love, Paul George. Those guys are in the next group. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So Kyrie, with his situation, with the numbers he'll be able to put up, if Isaiah Thomas can put up 28 in that system, Kyrie could give you 30 easily.
He really
32.
could. He really could.
To me, it's going to be how unselfish is he going to be? Mm-hmm. How hard is he going to play? Is he going to give it his all on that Tuesday night against the Nets at home? Because those Celtics fans will be giving it their all, and they will let him know if they don't like it. That could be a little bit of a dynamic.
Sometimes in a very racist way in Boston.
Right. Because Kyrie Irving without LeBron James never made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Okay? He was the best player on the worst team in the league in 2011 when he was a rookie.
I'm still proud of the Indians for being a Cleveland team in the playoffs without LeBron on them.
The Indians look fantastic, by the way. They just took the Yankees to school.
They did. It's nice.
And their pitching staff is fantastic. And Lindor is awesome.
He's great.
Back to that.
Anyway, I just
that's a Cleveland team.
But yeah, no,
right.
Kyrie had no shot. Kyrie had no shot with that team.
No, he didn't, which is part of the reason why he was like, come on, I've done my thing. I showed you what I can do. Mm-hmm. What better place to have a chance to do it? The Celtics, for all of their great history, mm-hmm. from Cousy to Havlicek and Russell and McHale and Bird and Parrish, all the way up to Paul Pierce and KG and Ray Allen. Outside of Bob Cousy, who played in an era that almost shouldn't count.
Arguable that Russell's era shouldn't count,
that's
too.
What I mean.
You know?
He's on that team. He's the point guard.
Yeah.
They've never had a point guard like this. They've never had a creator, a handler, a go-get-you-bucket guy like this from the lead guard spot. So I think that's going to be awesome to watch.
There's been like 5 of these guys. Offensively, what Kyrie can do, there's been like 5 ever. That can come off the ball that fast.
No doubt.
There have been guys that have one-on-one. KD was talking about it. He said KD, who's
I heard this part.
Unguardable.
Yeah.
He used the term, he's unguardable.
Yeah.
When he wants to score, he's going to go score. Like, that's crazy talk.
I believe this conversation was in a one-on-one game at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Who would you be in the finals against? And he said, Kyrie. He said, man, that boy is tough. He's like, he'd be hitting step-back shots against me. I don't know if I could. And he's long, obviously, Durant. Kyrie couldn't guard him, but he's saying, I don't know if I could check him one-on-one.
That was always my favorite Dan Patrick thing, NBA-wise. So he talked about Bird that way. Who's Bird going to guard? Who's guarding Bird?
Who's guarding him? That's a great point.
Like it's easy to say who's Kyrie going to guard. You gonna outscore him?
Who's guarding him?
Are you gonna outscore Kyrie? Because you're probably not gonna.
So that first game.
Oh, it's game 1. It's in Cleveland
game,
too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so game. Good. That's so good.
The guy who wanted out is coming back. It's almost perfect. It really is.
The NBA goes a little on the nose with the scheduling.
Oh,
they go so on the nose with it.
They really do. I mean, if
Opening
you look
day,
at the
Christmas Day, just hammer you in the head with it.
The teams that have nationally televised games, I mean, it's Warriors, Cavs, Celtics, Rockets, Thunder. Boom. Yep. That's it. And like Minnesota and Milwaukee, who could be a sneaky team. Now, Milwaukee almost came in with a last-ditch effort. I don't know if you saw it.
No. Or
As
if I did,
the trade
it
was held up, Milwaukee offered Malcolm Brogdon, who won the Rookie of the Year. They're trying to sell high on him, which I don't blame him. He's okay. Chris Middleton and a couple picks to try to get Kyrie.
Yeah, pass on that deal.
Greek Freak and Jabari Parker.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that deal.
Yeah, you're probably going to
pass on that deal.
Even if he's injured with the hip, you're definitely going to go with that Celtics deal.
By the way, you mentioned Brogdon, last year's Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. Who's this year's Rookie of the Year?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm not going to dance around it. It's not going to be Tatum, and it's not going to be Josh Jackson.
So it's Fultz or Simmons?
It's going to be Dennis Smith
Jr. Smith Jr. That's the third guy.
He's going to get the reins from day one on a decent Mavericks team.
I didn't watch, me with college.
Yeah.
But I've seen a bunch of Dennis Smith, summer league stuff and all the freak athlete.
He played just 1 minute on Dennis Smith in college. He played at NC State. Mm-hmm. He did exactly what Ben Simmons did, exactly what Michael Porter might be doing. He went to one of these shit programs. NC State's the 4th best team in their own state, okay? It's North Carolina State.
It's not even that big a state.
Okay? That's what I mean. Okay? He played for a coach, Mark Gottfried, who was fired mid-season, and they said, well, just coach out the rest of the year, and then you'll be fired during the end of the year.
That's not the stability you want.
So he hated this idiot who was there, who I actually saw him in an airport one time, and I said, "Hey, coach," and he waved. So I kind of have a little Mark Godfrey moment.
That's good.
That's the end of the story.
Okay.
But
where'd you guys go together?
it was in Charlotte, so he was in that same state
Gotcha.
where he's the fourth best coach and the fourth best
By the way,
team.
who's the fourth best team in Connecticut? College basketball.
Right off the top of my head, I'm going to say Sacred Heart, but they lost a really good player. I think Central stinks.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Dennis Smith.
And the Knicks really should have taken him. I don't know anything about Frankie Smokes. He might be a good player, but Smith would have been perfect for them. He's going to be great for the Mavericks with the pick and pop Dirk, Harrison Barnes. Curry's little brother's playing pretty good for them.
He did
they
look
got
good this year.
Noel running to the rim. This guy is going to be given the reins.
Noel was another steal.
Yes, they kept him. Nobody even wanted him.
30 cents on the dollar they got him for, and then they got to keep him for free.
Nobody wanted him.
Yeah, I know.
They really played that pretty good.
That one baffled me.
So Dennis Smith is my pick. I think Lonzo's going to be good. I think Fultz and Simmons are going to be good if Embiid can stay healthy.
Yeah, Simmons is my guy.
The process has to come through. They're going to be interesting. But as you said, all these teams are doing all this stuff, and then there's the old boys that are just staying together.
One more before we go to that,
Sure.
before we go to Golden State, because we just talked about two of them. These are my two. I want to know your two. Minnesota and Philadelphia. The two teams I can't wait to watch as much of as I can of this year. Is that number one? That's 1 and 2 for me.
Sure. I can't disagree with you more. For other interesting reasons, I want to see exactly how good the Greek Freak is going to be again this year.
Yeah.
I kind of like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I want to see if it's either going to be a success or a dumpster fire in New Orleans. Because you know who else they added? And I'm not sure if you do, but you will when I tell you.
Who?
Rondo.
Oh, yeah.
Rondo with Boogie. That's like...
It's a hell of a locker room, dude.
Honestly, that's like the end of the 2000s Jailblazers with Rasheed Wallace and Damon Stoudemire and Ruben Patterson and all those guys. That's what that could be down there.
Yeah.
It could either be the most entertaining thing you've ever seen, or honestly, they could get in a fist fight.
This is Irvin and Dion on the same team.
It really is. That's exactly what it could be.
Yeah.
Where you have two great, huge personalities. I mean... You could argue that if Rondo doesn't get hurt, the Bulls win that series. They probably do.
You really could.
Yeah. So maybe he's got something to prove in the tank. You know, he's doing all these one-year deals. They re-signed Drew Holiday for... Drew Holiday got what I would call the Matt Stafford contract. As Colin Cowherd was saying, you should pay Matt Stafford, which I agree. He was like, think about this. Drew Holiday got more money than Matt Stafford. He goes, do you even know who Drew Holiday is? I was cracking up. You know, he's saying it to his national audience. Otto Porter got $100 million.
Yep.
The team that also is going to be interesting, as you mentioned, that is Washington. If they could ever convince your boy to waive his no trade and go down there, Carmelo, then they could be in business.
I was wondering which one of my boys you were talking about.
But they took a step back. I think that the Knicks still want to get rid of him. But Washington really didn't do anything. They just kind of kept their squad together. And they still have a horrible bench. Terrible bench. So I would agree with you. Minnesota for sure. And your second team, Philadelphia, because... How long is this process going to work?
We've been waiting. We got to see it.
Really
we got to see it. I can't wait to see Simmons. If he's good, then they're going to be a blast. If he's good and Embiid's healthy, then they're going to be a blast.
Can't be a total like brick city play off of him by 10 feet guy. They have to make sure that he has worked on his jumper. I hope he has. He's had the whole year off.
You got to imagine how many guys come into the league that play guard.
Yeah.
The knock on them is they can't shoot.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot, but like bigger name guys, Rondo comes to mind. Rubio comes to mind. Like, there's a few of them, but most guys, Kawhi's jumper wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
It's gotten great.
Sure
Durant wasn't a phenomenal outside shooter when he first came in.
And
phenomenal now.
The thing is, none of those guys are 6'10".
Yeah, that's true.
And if they're really gonna play him at point, which I think is a good idea. Now, if you're just going by the old 2-3-2, 2-2-1. You'd have Fultz and Redick in the backcourt. You'd have Simmons at the 3 with like a Covington or somebody like that at the 4 and then Embiid at the 5. But then Simmons can basically do the poor man's LeBron and be that point forward at 6'10" because he's such a great passer.
Yeah.
It's just I just hope that they don't play off him so much so he's just clanking 18-footers the whole game. He's got to be able to get in transition, get to the rim, dish it off to Embiid, kick it out to Redick and Fultz who can both shoot it.
Yep.
Of course, it's a extremely interesting team. They have a lot of national TV games, so you know that people think that they're interesting too.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you an important question. We've been talking now for 32 minutes,
Ooh.
and let me ask you a question. Did anything we just said in the last 32 minutes matter at all?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
They kept their team together.
Yep.
They paid Steph, who would probably never be a problem, but they paid him. Mm-hmm. They had to. They keep those 4 guys together. They kept even JaVale there. They kept West. They kept Livingston because
everybody.
What's his name? Durant took less money. Everybody was trying to overbid for Iguodala just to break up something.
Yeah, he takes the pay cut. Takes the pay cut to stay.
The only guy they really lost was Ian Clark. And Ian Clark got paid by somebody else, which is good for him. And they bring in, I mean, I know he's a nutcase, but Swaggy P could score 20 points in a quarter. He really could. He's crazy. He's a crazy player. And they got a guy like him because everybody just wants to come and play for 1 year. Zaza's coming back. He'll just do his, cheap shot, dirty thing that he does all game.
Zaza kick in the back, Draymond kick in the ball. Yeah,
sure.
They'll go after
you. Are we going to see a Cleveland and Golden State final again? Unfortunately, I would probably say yes.
And it probably goes 5 games?
San Antonio got Rudy Gay. I mean, that's just a name. Does that really
it doesn't move my needle at all.
It doesn't. Could Houston give him a little? Could the Spurs? You would just love it. You would love it if it's OKC and Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. Now you're talking.
I want that second round.
It could be because it
I
could
want
be
a
the
second round because I want Russ to do whatever he can, whether it's 4, 5, or 6 games, whatever they last. Mm-hmm. They don't win, but whatever they last, beat them up and set up Houston.
Instead of Houston
for the showdown.
Now that means Houston is getting by San Antonio.
I think Houston can get by.
Chris Paul should put them over the top.
I think he should absolutely put them over the top.
Because if Chris Paul went to San Antonio,
I would give them a real chance against Golden State.
Agreed. Now that he went to Houston, who lost in 4-2, but they won that first game, and San Antonio just made a ton of adjustments, and of course D'Antoni got exposed in the playoffs like he always does, especially by Popovich, who just completely owns him.
Yeah.
You've got to if those are your 4, how about if the 4-5 matchup in the first round is OKC Minnesota?
Oh, what a blast.
Now we're talking.
What a blast.
That would be awesome.
And then Minnesota could beat them. And then it could be Minnesota Golden State in the second round.
Minnesota could be.
Oh, my God.
Or if OKC really overachieves, if you had any one of those matchups out of those 5 teams,
it's awesome.
I think obviously Utah takes a step back. The Clippers are clearly going to take a step back. You don't really know what the Pelicans. Memphis didn't do anything.
Portland will hover.
Portland didn't do anything. So those 4 teams are like 6 through 9.
Yeah.
And then
Lakers are 10 to 12
Lakers,
range.
Suns.
Yeah.
Who else? Sacramento. They're all young. They have no chance.
No.
Okay. If you ever got if Minnesota really takes the jump that we think they are, they're not just a paper team. And by that, I mean they all have good stats and they all hate each other on the court. If they really buy into Tibbs and Wiggins starts playing defense, which he should be doing, but now Jimmy Butler will make him do it.
Yes.
And if Towns takes the next step, and if Teague doesn't get killed every night in the Western Conference, Teague has never been in the Western Conference.
That's a good point.
So he could get exposed.
Yeah.
He was in Atlanta, and then he went to you know what team actually could sneak in above all those teams that I didn't mention is Denver. They could come in 6th or 7th.
Okay.
But what are we really talking about?
Nothing.
So
we're talking about a first-round exit.
Right. So if those 5 teams are there, just say for sake of example, it goes Golden State. We'll give the Spurs the 2nd seed until somebody beats them. Mm-hmm. Let's just say Houston stays in 3rd. OKC would be 4th.
I agree with all that, yeah.
And then Minnesota's 5th. So the winner of the Minnesota OKC goes and plays Golden State, and then you've got the rematch, semifinals, Spurs and Rockets.
Add CP3 to it.
Add CP3.
Okay, mix and stir.
You got to think that the Rockets, and assuming everybody's at full strength, I would just like to see Russ with a legitimate running man, a legitimate second man, top 15 player, go at them. Because Paul George is somebody that can he would be in the Jay Crowder, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Giannis, and I bet you there's maybe one more player I'm missing that could just at least give Durant a hard time. Because Durant has just transformed into the most unstoppable scorer.
He's so fun.
So if George can get him, right, and Russ loves going against Westbrook, Roberson, can't shoot a lick. Great defender. You stick him on Clay. Now all of a sudden you actually have a legitimate
There's matchups.
Chance to do something. Draymond would be the X factor there because while OKC got an underrated signing in Patrick Patterson, who's a very good player. That's another team that Toronto, they didn't do anything. They just stepped back. They signed Ibaka. When are people going to stop getting fooled by Ibaka?
Never.
Okay.
Clearly.
Wouldn't
sticking around.
Ibaka be really good when James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant are on the team? No shit. I would be good at that role, the fourth role.
I think you could be.
I mean, come on. So, whatever, forget them. That actually makes a really cool Western Conference.
Can you believe Ibaka's been in our lives for 5 years now? 6 years, 7 years, something like that? It's been unbelievable.
It's crazy. And then in the East, you've got the top two.
That's it.
It really is.
That's it.
Who finishes third? Washington?
Who cares? Toronto? Washington?
Milwaukee?
Maybe?
Milwaukee against LeBron in the second
round. That'd be fun. I'm rooting for that.
1-4 matchup.
I'm rooting for that.
2-6, 2-3 matchup.
I'm rooting for that. I'm fine with that. By the way, if you're a Western Conference team, who's the team between 6 and... So last year, Utah played Golden State decently well. They lost by 10 to 15, but they lost by 10 to 15 every night.
Right.
They were close in the third quarter. The 3 out of 4 games, they were within a few points in the third quarter. They played them okay. Mm-hmm. And the Golden State didn't blow them out once. No, right? They were competitive games.
They were.
And it didn't really slow Golden State down. Is there any team in the West that can maybe get swept but do that from the bottom half of the West again, an 8 seed? Or is the way that Golden State's constructing and now just meshing together, are they going to steamroll the 8 seed this year?
They will steamroll the 8 seed unless the 8 seed is Denver. Now, I don't think Denver is going to be the 8 seed.
You think they're higher?
If Denver is 7, 6, or 5, they're going to give one of those 3 other teams all they can handle.
Okay.
They got Gary Harris and they got Moutier, but they really like Jamal Murray.
Basketball people love the Nuggets this year.
They do.
You're a basketball guy.
They love
I'm
Jokic.
not surprised. But,
They love Jokic. And they love Millsap. Mm-hmm. Those are 2 of the best passing big guys. You throw Horford in there, it's like a younger version of Horford and Millsap. And Millsap's going to be rejuvenated. Wilson Chandler's a solid guy. They lost Gallinari, which is fine. They have a really intriguing team. If they could ever get that one big-time stud, like if they ever got Paul George.
Carmelo Anthony?
Or, as you joke, but Carmelo would be perfect.
In Denver?
Back in Denver.
That'd be awesome.
As the small forward on that team.
You know what he should do?
Really would.
He should sign and trade with Denver and just gut the Nuggets.
Bring the Nuggets back to the Knicks when he did.
And bring the Knicks back to prominence.
6 years later, after all he had to do was wait 4 months and sign as a free agent.
Just sign as a free agent, man.
Crazy.
All you got to do.
It really is.
Got the team.
That would be the one team that I could say could give them a shot. There's no team, I don't think, in the East that could do the same to either of the top 2 teams.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that we have some football stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get you out of here soon. So I'm sure that before Thanksgiving, you'll be back in here to talk about the first month of the season.
There's no doubt. We're going to have to. We're going to see how those players are all meshing. Because
see what Isaiah looks like, see what Kyrie looks like. It's going to be fun.
To your point, I've never seen a full summer worth of moves.
This is crazy.
With huge names. Huge names.
So I wrote down, before you came in, the top players I want to talk about that moved. Mm-hmm. Hayward, Kyrie, CP3, and Paul George. Mm-hmm. And then you threw Jimmy Butler in when you walked in the room.
There you go.
I was like, how did I forget Jimmy Butler? That's an all-star starting 5.
I was just going to say, you know what that is? That's a Team USA team.
It really is. Kyrie
and Paul in the backcourt with Butler
and George in the front court, and Hayward's a small 5.
Hayward, and then you could throw in Millsap on that team.
There you go. It's stupid.
It really is. And those
crazy.
Guys changed teams. Mm-hmm. Not like Blake Griffin, who signed a huge deal and stayed.
Now
changing teams.
Now imagine how crazy this is. So those guys are all top 4% of the most famous and best players on the planet. All of them are.
You would think,
right? If you took that many players in the NFL and moved them around, the landscape of the NFL would change completely.
Yes, it
would.
Tom
Brady moves, somebody moves. I guess the Tom Brady didn't move because LeBron didn't move.
Just say every non-quarterback. If you had big-time running backs, wide receivers, DNs, linebackers, sure.
The succession of who would challenge and who wouldn't would change drastically. We're sitting here talking about Jimmy Butler, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul, Paul George, maybe Carmelo. And we're sitting here saying none of it even fucking matters. That's how good Golden State is.
That's unfortunately
crazy.
It will still be an awesome season. And I don't, everybody last year, they kind of knew it was going to happen. The ratings didn't change at all.
Yeah.
Could it happen again? Yes, but this first month, by the time it gets to Christmas, it'll be awesome. I think it's going to be, what I think this does is make the regular season more entertaining and more interesting.
I think the ratings in the regular season go up, and I think the playoff ones just keep going down as long as
agree.
Golden State's this good.
Yeah.
Did you read the articles about how much money the NBA lost last year?
Yeah, it was a lot. The salary cap
ton.
really. That's why the Celtics had to trade Avery Bradley. They thought they were going to have just to be able to sign him outright.
Yeah.
They had to get rid of him to match the contracts.
The Houston owner, genius, by the way.
Very
Ducking out of the
genius.
NBA right
I
now.
know.
All right, let's do a little football. Your boy.
Don't call him my boy.
He had his appeal today. They're going to have the arbiter make a decision. They're pressuring him for Monday.
Okay.
When our two teams play on Sunday Night Football. I don't think Zeke Elliott's playing in that game.
I don't think so either. But Roger, the dictator.
Sure.
Would I ever sit here and condone any sort of domestic violence? No. I hate that I even have to say that disclaimer.
You don't.
Okay.
We know.
But 6 games, that to me is a little excessive. I know you.
For a guy that wasn't charged.
It wasn't charged at all.
Yeah, it's just
and
a
it
series.
took them about a year to figure it out.
Yeah, basically, the NFL's justification was, all right, if you do 7 things that get you in the limelight of bad things, then you probably should get suspended.
Okay.
I get that, but 6 games is a lot.
Which is fine. But don't tell me that those things don't factor it in. The pulling down of the dress and the punching the guy out at the bar. The kid is out of control. He's an absolute jackass.
He is.
Okay? He is. And I agree that he should be suspended. 6 is a little much. Could he get 3 or 4? Okay, fine. Maybe he wins his appeal. I bet you he doesn't. I'm really not, honestly, I'm not crying over it. I think my team is taking a huge step back. They lost a ton of talent on defense. Everybody else is suspended on defense. Is Dak going to do exactly what he did last year? Everybody's got film on him now. He did look pretty good in the preseason. The guy, I got to give it to him. He's very accurate.
He's a good. He's going to be really good.
He is.
He's already good.
Now, is Odell going to play?
I'm not worried at all. And here's why.
Either.
Because his rookie year, he had the hip issue.
Okay.
Remember, he missed 5 weeks. And like the third week in, Giants fans like me are going, the highlights look good, but why the hell did we draft a kid that can't play?
Right.
We're 3 weeks into his rookie year. He hasn't touched the field yet. What was it? 4 weeks. So 4 weeks later, 4 weeks later, he's the third best receiver on the planet, and he still is. They're not going to rush him. He's going through treatment. If he misses a week, if he misses 2, are you still not picking him in your top 5 of your fantasy? No, because in week 12, when he scores 3 touchdowns in the second half of the game, you're going to be like, what? Of course, it's what he's doing.
It was like Le'Veon Bell last year when he was missing 3 games. He was still in the top 5.
What are you worried about?
You're definitely doing it.
Yeah, what are you worried about?
In terms of our matchup, the Cowboys never beat the Giants
at home on Sunday night
to open the season because it freaking happens every freaking year. And I like the Giants. I actually do. I think that their offensive line is awful. And that's the biggest difference between the two teams.
It could be.
If you just put,
it is.
If you put the defense is just, it's not even close. It's
bonkers
superior.
good. It's bonkers good.
The best player on either defense is Landon Collins, and to me, it's not even close. And the only other one would be JPP.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right, but there's no Cowboy that you got to go down 3, 4, 5 guys before you even get to Sean Lee. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm taking Snacks Harrison for sure.
Oh,
he's the best. He's the best at his position.
He's the best defensive tackle in the league.
He's the best at it.
Good idea, Jets.
Olivier Vernon, Janoris Jenkins is a top 5
There's
corner.
There's 5 guys right there before you even name a Cowboy.
Rogers Camardi's a top 10 corner.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Eli Apple might be a top 15 corner at the end of this year.
Good. Shepard should be all right. He's back, right?
Yeah,
that was kind of a scare when it happened. I can remember listening to the fan. They were going crazy.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't thrilled when I saw the update, but yeah, he's fine.
And, I like Eli. I kind of have always supported him. I mean, I'm not going to go to the...
There's no excuses this year.
There really isn't. Unless he gets crushed. Yeah, come on.
Beckham, Shepard, Ingram, Marshall.
Come on.
How do you not?
The line has to open up just a little bit of a hole for Paul Perkins. I mean, that line does suck.
The line... Here's the problem with the line. The line's not that bad.
Okay.
The interior of the line's good. Justin Pugh's a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
Weston Richburg's a good center.
He's good.
Whoever the other guard is, maybe it's John Jerry. Whoever it is, he's okay. He's fine.
It might as well be John Jerry.
Flowers is young, and he's a mountain of a guy.
He was picked 9th for a reason.
And his feet are supposedly, he's got great feet for a big guy. He's going to be a great line.
Yeah.
But he gets thrown all over the place, and he false starts and holds people.
He does.
Right? But he's 22 or 23, whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
the Giants don't seem outwardly concerned. McAdoo, every time he talks about him, says, yeah, he's a young kid. He's getting better every day. He's going to keep getting better. Eventually, his size and his skill are just going to take over. Once he figures everything out, he's going to be fine. He's going to be a good left tackle. Eli might be dead before that happens.
That's what I mean.
That's the problem.
And we're talking about the Iron Man of the NFL. The guy hasn't missed a start in his whole career.
Mid-04. When he took over for Kurt Warner.
I was a junior in high school.
Dude, Eli Manning's been my quarterback since I was 14 years old. Eli Manning has started every game for my team since I was 14.
You didn't even have your license.
The Red Sox had the Red Sox won a World Series when he started his first game because it's the same month.
It is. It's October.
When the Red
04.
Sox broke the curse is the month Eli Manning started
Kurt Warner.
Started his streak that has not ended yet.
Unbelievable.
How crazy is that?
That is crazy, and it's so true. So hopefully that
Eric Flowers might be the reason it goes
Eric
away.
might be sending flowers.
It might be it. Did you hear what Mike Lombardi calls him?
I love Mike Lombardi.
Do you know what he calls him? Flower. He calls him I-74.
Oh yeah, because it's a freaking freeway. It sure is.
Oh, it's
only
terrible.
to be outdone by what he calls Brock Osweiler, the heist.
Oh yeah,
the heist of the Robert De Niro
Lufthansa heist. Yeah,
the Lufthansa
heist. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question before you move on.
Yeah.
I know you think you're going to win the division. Do you expect to win the division?
Yes.
Okay. What record are you going to have to win it?
11-5.
Okay, that's what came into my head. I definitely think the Cowboys are going to drop 2 games, probably 3. If they drop 4, they won't make the playoffs. So I'm going to say 10-6 for them.
Yeah, that's where I have them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, and by the way, just for the record, because I had this argument with a couple of friends. One of them's an Eagle fan, one's a Cowboy fan.
Okay, the only thing I hate more than Giants fans are Eagle fans.
So me and the Cowboy fan mutually were sitting there in agreement completely that the Eagles were going to finish dead last, and the Eagles
even behind Washington.
I think Washington might be the biggest boom or bust team in the league.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be like 8-8, 9-7.
Sure,
the offense is good, right? The offense is good enough for them to score enough points.
Colin picked the Eagles to win the division.
Dude, the Eagles are going to be a dumpster fire.
You think?
Dude, Peterson's a shitty coach.
You don't like Wentz?
I didn't see anything out of Wentz that scares me. As a Cowboy fan, are you scared of Carson Wentz Day?
Not yet.
I'm scared of Dak Prescott Day. I'm not scared of Carson Wentz Day.
What about with Alshon Jeffrey and who's the other guy they got? Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith was an afterthought on a Super Bowl team.
Yes, he was. And then he went to the team they beat in the Super Bowl, and I forgot that he was on the team.
Yeah, well, now he's at least got a quarterback.
He does.
He didn't have much. No, they just don't scare me.
No.
Like third and 9. What are the Eagles going to do against the Giants defense? What's Carson Wentz doing against the Giants defense?
That's a bad spot for Carson Wentz to be.
You don't want to be 3rd and 9
defense.
against the Giants. Nobody wants to be 3rd and 9 against the Giants defense, but Carson Wentz doesn't scare me.
No.
I've been through enough Giant Eagle games to know the guys that I need to be afraid of.
It's very true.
Like Deshaun Jackson. He might be the scariest player of my life.
Well,
seriously,
you'll never
just as a Giants fan.
Out of bounds
of course, Matt Dodge. Yeah, of course. But like he went from the Eagles and then to the Redskins. And I don't know how many touchdowns he scored against the Giants. But I'm sure I've seen every single one of them live, and it's the worst every time. Carson Wentz doesn't scare me. Carson Wentz doesn't scare me.
Have you been watching Hard Knocks?
Yes, Jackson? I wrote Hard Knocks down. I've been loving Hard Knocks.
It's fantastic.
Good season.
I love Jameis Winston.
This is the hardest time I've had not falling in love with the team being featured on Hard Knocks.
Let me tell you one team that I didn't fall in love with.
The
Rams last year.
Jeff fucking Fisher,
Jeff
dude.
Fisher.
He's the worst.
Jeff Fisher. Thank God there isn't an NFL season without Jeff Fisher this year. Thank God.
First time in a while.
I'm
glad you hate him as much as I do.
Oh, I really do.
It's a long running theme on the show is my hatred for Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher based his career off of Kevin Dyson not scoring a touchdown.
He parlayed 1999 into 16 years of losing football.
He lost. They never even got back there.
He lost the game.
What happens if they don't do the Music City Miracle?
They lost in the first round of the Bills.
Okay, the Bills, who haven't won since the 90s.
Here's the real question.
About 2, now matter 14.
I never put this together, but to tie it all into a big bow, because I hate Jeff Fisher as much as you do. I promise I do. The Buffalo Bills have not been in the playoffs since they lost the Music City Miracle, and Jeff Fisher's entire career was built off of that game.
Built off of the Music City Miracle.
That's amazing. I never put that together.
We should go up to Bills Mafia and with a microphone ask them what they think about Jeff Fisher. They probably, there's going to be that one diehard fan that's like, he built his resume off the Music City Miracle. We've already spent too much time on Jeff Fisher.
I want to find that guy and make him my best friend in the whole world, because people that hate Jeff Fisher are people I need around me. Yeah, no, Hard Knocks has been fun. Gerald McCoy
Love Gerald
He's
McCoy.
a star, man. He's
is.
really fun to
And
listen
you know
to.
what? He's a real hell of a player, too.
Oh, he's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud. He might be with Snacks as the top two. Defensive tackles,
I would
them and
think
Sue,
so.
right? Top three?
Yeah, and Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. Yeah,
Those
yeah.
would be the four. And if I'm Aaron Donald, I would sit out with that team, too, even though I'd like to give that guy McVay a chance.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Rams.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah,
I know
no.
we have a little time. Are the Jets going to win a game?
Yeah, they'll win a game.
Against who?
I don't know. Somebody.
They'll steal one somewhere.
They'll steal one somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the Jets are like 3-13 because the Jets have
Really?
Yeah, because the Jets defense is decent.
It is.
Because their defense is fine, and
Their two safeties are great.
yeah, and Josh
will be great.
And Josh McCown,
Who's he
throw the
throwing to?
ball. I don't know. Somebody to throw it to. The stands, the other
could.
team. I don't know. Nah, they'll win a game or two. Maybe 3-13 is a little optimistic for the Jets, but yeah, they'll win a game.
know.
Do you think they're going to lose them all?
They could.
You go in 16?
If I'm them, I would try to.
Scam for Sam?
There's two teams that should tank this year. And I'm telling you right now.
Who's the other one?
You might not believe me.
Jacksonville.
The Colts.
Oh, the Colts should tank. The
They
Colts
should sit Luck for the rest of the year. Now, they won't because they are idiots and have a lame duck coach who, just like Todd Bowles, wants to win. But if you're the Colts and Luck has not thrown yet, okay, it's probably the worst personnel outside of the Jets and Browns on the Colts.
Yeah.
You're going to get a top 3 pick. There's 3 quarterbacks. You could get a king's ransom for the quarterbacks and then rebuild your roster through all those picks, like the Rams tried to do with the RG3, and then the Titans tried to do with the when they traded for the Goff pick.
Yeah.
Why not do that if you're them?
I agree with you.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with you. Yeah.
It just came to me the other day.
The problem with it is if the Colts miss Luck for the first 3 weeks and then go 0-3,
they're going to bring him in.
that division is still winnable
really-
at that
that's
point. That's the problem.
Jesus,
The division is still winnable if you start 0-3.
He is so by far the best quarterback in that division. It's not even close. Mariota's
like the halfway point, and then the other two.
But if
or the other
if
whoever.
Andrew Luck was on the Titans, we'd be talking about them being a Super Bowl contender.
If Andrew Luck was on the Jaguars, they would have the second best odds to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC.
I bet you they
guarantee you they would.
And if he was on the Texans, they might be hosting the AFC Championship game against the Patriots.
Could be. All right, so who's worse off? The Cowboys if they lose Zeke for 6 games.
Okay.
Or the Patriots without Edelman all year. Who's worse off? Because I think the Cowboys losing Zeke for 6 games is a nail in their playoff coffin. I think that's got to come down.
There's no team that can overcome an injury better than the Patriots.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl without what will be probably, if he can stay healthy, the best statistical tight end of all time.
Yep.
Okay, so when you have these other shifty guys like Chris Hogan and the guy that they drafted and Danny Amendola, and now they got Brandon Cooks to take the top off the defense, that'll be fine. Zeke Elliott is by far a bigger loss in my opinion, and that's a tough part of their schedule for the Giants too.
Yeah.
So who's going to win the divisions? Who do you like to win the divisions?
All right, let's go around.
Sure.
Let's go around. So the East, I've got the Giants.
Okay, I'll take the Cowboys.
For the North,
Yep.
you go first.
Green Bay.
Agreed. West, I'll take Seattle, obviously.
Agreed.
And in the South,
No, that's tough.
this is a tough one. So New Orleans is better.
Yep.
Atlanta's still Atlanta. No Shanahan. Carolina should be better.
Oh, Christian McCaffrey makes them better.
And we were just talking about Tampa Bay. That's a great division.
It is.
But it's your turn to pick first, so I like this.
I am going to go with Tampa.
Tampa is the sweetheart pick.
I know.
Watching Hard Knocks is actually why I won't pick them.
Okay.
Because it just seems like they aren't
too good to
ready
be true.
yet. No,
Yeah.
but it just seems like, how many times have we seen a practice footage where they're going, guys, what the fuck are we doing?
That is a great
Are we
point.
stupid?
Yeah.
They're young. And
They are.
Winston is still throwing really stupid passes.
I watched that game just because I knew it was coming on Hard Knocks.
Yes.
And then it was so great to watch what Cutter said to him. He's like, what are you doing?
You can't throw that ever. What do you say, ever?
Ever.
So ever. You can't ever
He's
make
like,
that
you're
throw.
so good, but what are you doing?
Yeah, and that's the third or fourth time just on Hard Knocks
I know.
that we've
So
seen
I'm
Jameis
going out
throw.
on a limb.
So, yeah, I think Jameis and they will throw themselves out of a couple games.
Agreed.
I think Jameis is going to be phenomenal.
Sure.
And he's clearly a great leader, and he's going to be a great quarterback. I like Carolina.
Oh,
I like Carolina a lot.
I like that.
I like their defense.
I thought you were going to take Atlanta, so that's why I took Tampa Bay.
Here's what terrifies
Atlanta
me.
probably will be right there, too.
I think Atlanta will be,
they're
too.
going to be pissed off.
And I think New Orleans is 8-8.
Sure.
So
with AP.
Carolina, Cam bounce back season.
No doubt.
McCaffrey goes in there. Here's what scares me.
Okay.
I'd be nervous if you threw your watch at Luke Kuechly's head. And I
Yeah.
mean that seriously. Like, I'd be terrified if you threw your watch at his head. Never mind 300
That was a
pound lineman.
Thursday night game.
Yeah.
That guy could have. That guy's like that could be brain
He's a
issues.
second away. He's
I
a
know.
second away all the time from not playing. And he's the best. Is he the best middle linebacker in the league?
He's right there.
He's got to be, right? Or he's
Is
close.
Khalil Mack a little middle linebacker?
Yeah, a little bit.
I would say that he would be, but
Probably, but
Kuechly's right there.
it's
If
right
he's
there.
not number one, he's number
So
two.
the concussion
2, 3,
stuff
4.
with him scares me a lot.
Sure.
It scares me a lot. But if he's on that defense for 16 games, yeah, I think they win.
They're right there.
I do. I think they win. All right, 2 quick questions and we'll go.
What about the other side?
Oh, the other side, AFC.
Sorry.
We both have the Pats.
Yep.
I'm at. All right, so let's do the South because the South is kind of a
Okay.
shithole.
You first or me?
I'll go first, the South, and I'll go Houston.
Okay. I'll take Tennessee.
And I think Indianapolis wins the division if Luck plays 12 games.
Yep. I don't think he will.
Yeah. Tennessee's there, Houston's there. The quarterback in Houston, I don't know. Savage, Watson,
Sure.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who do you got in the West?
I'm going Oakland.
Oh, I like Oakland. I
do.
like I like the West.
I do too.
The West is fun. San Diego's going to be really good this year.
San Diego's going to be a lot better than people think.
Yeah, they are.
I like their team.
Oakland's good.
If that kid Mike Williams didn't get hurt, I would really like them.
Yeah.
Their first round pick, the guy from Clemson, I think he got hurt bad. He might be out for the year.
They lost Forrest Lamp, the lineman that they drafted.
Yes, that's
as well.
right.
And I think they lost their 3rd round pick for the season
Wow.
too. But even still, they have a ton of talent.
They're going to be better.
They have a ton of talent. So I like
Denver
LA.
is taking a real step back.
Denver might take a step back. Simeon,
First year coach.
yeah, that's true. Defensive guy.
Who do
Often
they
not
have?
a great defense.
Who do
Vance
they have
Joseph.
on
Yeah,
offense? No, I know it's Vance Joseph, but who do they have on offense? C.J. Anderson?
C.J. Anderson, yeah, and Emmanuel Sanders. Well, they got Demarius.
Demarius Thomas?
Yeah, but who's getting them the ball? I'm taking Kansas City
Okay.
in the West because Alex Smith just keeps winning games. Andy Reid just
You don't
keeps.
think they're going to make any quarterback change? Because I don't.
No, I don't, and I think that's kind of why they're going to win the division.
Yes.
Because Alex Smith now
Okay.
seat's on fire.
Sure.
You're good at winning games. Better keep go winning them because
I like it.
now your seat's on fire.
A little bit more Tyreek Hill. Spencer Ware just got lost for the season. Who's
He
running
did.
the ball?
It's that other kid. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Kareem
know
Hunt,
either.
right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. The
Yeah.
guy from Toledo.
This is why I do fantasy drafts.
There you go.
I've done one. I only have one fantasy league left. I've gotten rid of fantasy out of my life,
Wow,
except for
awesome.
one football league.
I have 2 coming up.
Do you?
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the only reason I know Kareem Hunt's name because we drafted on Friday.
And then the final one is the North.
The final one is the North, and that's why I saved it for last because the North is fun.
It is
The
fun.
North is fun. I like Pittsburgh though.
Okay, I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Really? That's
wanna
actually
know why?
surprising. I thought I saved the North because it would, and then I figured we both take
I
Pittsburgh.
don't like Baltimore's roster, and I don't like Joe Flacco. I like Marvin Lewis will be fired if they don't make the playoffs
In what year?
this year.
Okay.
He also might not be fired. He also might be fired if they don't win a game. I like the Bengals,
Okay. Yeah, I like the Steelers have the best roster there.
no doubt about it.
Here's the other problem.
The Steelers are the pick. I'm just a little bit out on a
That's
limb
fair.
for
All
that
right,
one.
2 quick ones.
Sure.
How are you enjoying baseball this summer? Baseball's been fun.
Baseball has been fun. Baseball has been low for me. My third sport is golf. I'm watching.
Oh, I'm into that.
every weekend.
Nice.
Like last weekend was the Northern Trust. It
Yeah.
had DJ and Spieth in the playoff.
Phenomenal playoff.
Baseball to me, well, it's because I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. They absolutely suck. I've really become to like the Yankees. I can't stand the Red Sox. And when I was in college, I used to really root for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I think the Mets have been terribly disappointing. And in 30 seconds, if Giancarlo Stanton hits 61 home runs, he will not be the all-time record. Barry Bonds hit 73. Giancarlo Stanton is a phenomenal baseball player. He won't be the home run record. I have enjoyed baseball. I will watch it in October. Will you ask me if I'm watching a game tonight? The answer would be no.
Last one. Easy one.
Mm-hmm.
FSU, Alabama.
Bama big.
Bama big.
Yes.
I like it.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Because I know how much. What did you think of the fight?
Oh, that's right. I didn't know if you watched the fight.
I did.
Okay. I thought it was exactly. I thought it wasn't surprising
Okay.
because I loved Connor coming in as shocking the boxing world that he can box.
I know you did.
Like coming in, he's gonna hit like people. Max Kellerman, he's not gonna hit him.
Yeah.
Are you nuts?
Yeah.
Are you nuts? He's knocked out 10 guys in the last 3
Sure.
years with his left hand. Like he can punch people. He's good at that. I watched it with Condi
Okay.
and my brother.
What did he think?
And he and I agreed on the same thing. Going into it, we said if 4 rounds go by and Connor has not knocked him out, There's no way that the power is going to be there to knock him out.
Correct.
What I didn't think was going to happen was I didn't think Conor would let his cardio go. But it's happened to him 3 different times. It happened to him in both Diaz fights.
Do you think that it was a Floyd strategy?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. And Floyd's strategy is a little ballsy because he took a absurd uppercut.
He did.
And he just ate it and walked right through it.
He really did.
So that's why the strategy worked.
I've never seen him get hit that hard.
He must have just said, I've seen people punch harder.
Mm-hmm.
If he hits me, he hits me, but he'll punch himself out. He won't knock me out. Floyd bet on his head not getting knocked out, and he bet perfectly.
And he did.
He bet, but I loved the fight.
Way more entertaining than I thought.
I was so jacked after the first round.
Now you're a UFC guy.
I was so jacked after the first round.
I know you were. And I'm rooting for Floyd. You're rooting for Conor.
Yeah.
You're a UFC guy. Do you now have any interest in Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez?
I was going to watch it anyway. I watch all the big ones.
Yes. This will be a fantastic fight.
Here's the problem I have.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, because you're a boxing guy. Way more of a boxing guy than I am.
Yes, and vice versa.
Ignoring the scorecards from the judges, how many rounds did Conor win? Roughly. Give me a guess. Is it?
I had 3.
Okay. Here's my issue with boxing. 3 judges. He won 5 total rounds on all 3 cards combined. He won 3 rounds on 1 card, and the other 2 judges had it 8-1, 8-1. What are we watching? What are we watching?
It's boxing.
It's so dumb.
Terrible.
It's so dumb. I watched a bit of that Pacquiao Horn fight.
Yeah.
It didn't seem as outrageous as boxing fans seem to think it was that Pacquiao didn't get the win there. But like even still, he had him dead in the 10th. Was it the 10th round? The 11th, whatever it was. Horn was dead.
He was.
And they saved him, and then he won. Boxing doesn't make any sense.
It's very corrupt.
I have a problem. I just the UFC has its issues. You know, probably the best star of all time, John Jones, just can't get his shit together
Jones
at all.
Is an idiot.
Yeah,
he should talk to his brother Chandler.
Yeah, you should talk to Arthur, Chandler, either one of them.
Any of the Joneses.
They're all keep up with the other Joneses. Keep up with the other Joneses. We're done, dude. We're done. Brett Zanardi, magic as always. We'll talk to you before Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
out here
Kev.
for sure.
This was great. Thank you.
We'll see you later, buddy.
See ya.
The Calhoun Show.
I never don't have fun when that dude's in studio. So thank you again to Brett for coming in. We will have him back soon, obviously. So stay tuned here for the more Calhoun Show coming up in the next few weeks. Subscribe. KCDC East versus West. Me and my boy Dan Condi are putting in a ton of work on that podcast. This one's not going away. I promise. I'm going to keep doing this. I love doing this. This is my stress relief. This is my passion side project to my self-time. I love it, and I'm not going anywhere. But we're putting a lot of work into KCDC. We're trying to make it turn into something. So the support of anyone and everyone helps. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's better than this show. Not that this show is bad, but this show's just me. And Dan and I are together for that one. And we are funnier than I am by myself. And we play off each other. And we do it. There's an insane amount of work that Dan puts into it to get prep work done and make sure everything is filed and ready to go. And we're, the process is starting to iron itself out, and we're starting to fit a formula together, and it's coming together really nicely. So I'm very excited about it. I hope you guys check it out if you haven't yet. So go do that. The link is in the description. If your cup of tea is just me, you know where to find me. I'll be right here on the Calhoun Show. At @ShutUpCalhoun is my Twitter handle, but I don't really use it. At @KCDC_East or at Calhoun Show for this particular show's Twitter account. Facebook.com/Calhoun Show. This show's on YouTube, Libsyn, SoundCloud, Stitcher, everywhere you could look for it, it's there. So that's it for me. You guys are the best. Send in some questions. Maybe we'll do an Ask Kevin Anything next week on the podcast, inspired by the Ask Kevin Durant Anything podcast. AKAs all over the place. All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you for listening to The Calhoun Show. Join the conversation by following the show on Twitter @Calhoun Show and emailing the show at calhounshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe and download for free on iTunes. Want to hear yourself on the show? Leave us a voicemail by calling 860-740-2119.